I give the floor to the delegation of Pakistan.
Thank you, Mr. President. Once again, we meet here in this council as Gaza bleeds under systematic, premeditated, and deliberate violations of international law, including international humanitarian law, this Council's own resolutions, and binding orders of the ICJ. And all of this committed with impunity by Israel, the occupying power. President, I would like to thank Assistant Secretary General Miroslav Zhencha and Mr. Ramesh Rajasingham of OCHA for their sobering briefings. The complementary information shared by the two briefers presents a picture that is beyond belief. A tragedy unfolding before our eyes, in our clear sight, and unfortunately, in this time and age. And while not enough has been done to stop it, to stop Israel, the occupying power, ASG Zhencha has described the Israeli decision to expand military operations in Gaza as a dangerous escalation, and which, if implemented, will displace all civilians from Gaza City. Mr. Zhencha referred to, and I quote, another horrific chapter, and Mr. Rajasingham described it beyond horrific, impossible to describe in words, untenable, and rightly so. And his call to respond to our collective conscience, to uphold international law, are most pertinent. Mr. President, the Prime Minister of Pakistan has strongly condemned the Israeli cabinet's decision to take control of Gaza City, calling it a dangerous escalation in an already catastrophic war against the people of Palestine. And in a joint statement yesterday, the Ministerial Committee, mandated by the Joint Extraordinary Arab-Islamic Summit, along with other countries, including Pakistan, has expressed strong condemnation and categorical rejection of this announcement, denouncing it as an unacceptable escalation, a blatant violation of international law, and a brazen attempt to entrench illegal occupation by force. Mr. President, this latest Israeli move aims to erase Palestinian presence. And contrary to what some claim and expect, this action will extinguish prospects for peace and undermine all regional and international efforts to peacefully resolve this conflict. So let us be clear. It is the culmination of a campaign of ethnic cleansing. First, it violates international law and Security Council resolutions, including 242 and 338, as well as Council's Resolution 2735. Secondly, it threatens mass displacement of over 1 million Palestinians, a grave breach of the Fourth Geneva Convention. And thirdly, it actually follows a clear pattern that we have seen: sustained bombardment, killing and maiming of thousands, destruction of an entire infrastructure, dismantling of humanitarian systems, forced starvation and displacement, all culminating in occupation under the pretext of security. Those shielding Israel from accountability through political cover, military support, or diplomatic protection are complicit and must share responsibility. They must reconsider their policies, for history will judge them harshly. Mr. President, Gaza is enduring a full-scale humanitarian catastrophe. For nearly 2 years, it has suffered indiscriminate bombardment, total blockade, and deliberate deprivation and starvation, while violence and dispossession escalate in the West Bank and East Jerusalem. The so-called humanitarian system is a cruel illusion. Famine is rampant, civilians are being shot trying to collect food. And as the distinguished representative of Slovenia rightly questioned, can there be a new law? Other colleagues have rightly expressed concern about the long term. But what will be there to salvage in the long term? Pakistan believes the action is needed now. Under the circumstances, this Council must urgently demand Israel, under Chapter 7 of the Charter, to refrain from its stated plan of occupying Gaza City. The Council should also call for an immediate, unconditional, and permanent ceasefire, release of hostages, and exchange of Palestinian prisoners, a complete halt to displacement and aggression, unhindered large-scale humanitarian access, and protection of the legal and historical status quo at Jerusalem's holy sites. Mr. President, the Security Council must be ready to impose a cost on Israel if it defies the demand of the Council and indeed the will of the international community. The Council must enact enforcement measures, including the deployment of an international protection force to save the besieged population. As our Prime Minister has affirmed, the root cause of this ongoing tragedy is Israel's prolonged, illegal occupation of Palestinian territory. As long as this occupation endures, peace will remain elusive. Mr. President, any attempt to sever Gaza from the rest of the occupied Palestinian territory is a direct attack on the very foundation of the two-state vision. Gaza is and will remain an inseparable part of the state of Palestine. And we are convinced that justice is unstoppable, that the resilience of the Palestinian people and the universal call for their rights will ultimately overcome oppression. And let me also categorically state that decisions for governance and their future are for the Palestinians and Palestinians alone to make. No one else can decide for them. Pakistan reaffirms full support for the Palestinian people's legitimate rights, including right to self-determination and the establishment of an independent, viable, and contiguous state of Palestine based on pre-1967 borders with Al-Quds al-Sharif as its capital. The recent high-level conference on Palestine was timely. It must now be followed by coordinated international action to realize long overdue peace and justice in the region. Mr. President, this Council must go beyond statements. It must act to end aggression, to protect civilians, restore justice, and ensure accountability. The credibility of this body and the prospects of peace in the Middle East are at stake. I thank you.
Agradezco
I thank the